For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello, welcome to Attwoolls Camping and Leisure with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a review on a very well-loved product. This here is the Vango Capri range. So they're inflatable. So it's part of the Airbeam collection, very quick and easy to put up. They've introduced a new model, which is one here, which is the 400XL. So they still carry on with the 500XL and then the 600XL, but the 400 is that sort of new, smaller size. Principle of it really is offering an awful lot of tent for your money. So it's very quick and easy to put up. You can put the whole thing up in sort of about 8 minutes, and certainly there's a video on our YouTube channel, you can check that out, and that's one person putting it up. Very strong in the winds, obviously, with the air system as well, so you've got that rigidity but the quick and ease. It's kind of a hybrid in many ways because it's got a fiberglass front pole just to keep the cost down. Like I said, it uses sort of standard tent fabric, so it's 70 denier, 4000mm hydrostatic head, so it's very waterproof, but it's fairly durable as well. Joys of this as well is it just tends to offer a good amount of space for what you would normally pay probably a lot more money for. So it's a nice little model to look at. You've got obviously PVC windows on each side as well, and also a nice side door so you can enter and exit as you please. But we'll talk a bit more about certain things when we go inside in just a moment. Modifications for the 2017 season. So they've actually increased the ventilation panels by 50%. So again, just to give you a bit more circulation to help battle condensation. You also got optional extras which have been made. So you've now got a porch door which goes on the front. So the joys of this, actually, it sort of changes the dynamic of the tent and makes it sort of completely enclosed at the front. It's certainly an extra you can certainly look at for buying for your previous model as well. So if you've currently got the 500XL or the 600XL, you can invest in one of those and it will fit. And joys, it just changes the aspect of it, like I said. Joys is when you put the porch door on, it makes that front area completely enclosed, meaning that if it's chucking down with rain or you want to keep your sort of cooking stuff out there all the time, but you're worried about maybe it going wayward if it's all open, you can obviously do that to help that sort of situation. It's a free sort of system tent, so you've got a sleeping area, a sort of main living area, and this nice big open canopy area as well. So obviously it offers plenty of sort of different space, and that new 400XL size offers certainly something that doesn't take up a lot of space, but you get plenty of height and plenty of versatility with it as well. So we'll talk a bit more about sort of features as well when we go inside. So let's have a look. So now we're inside the Capri. The first thing you see is what I was talking about on the outside, that sort of different sectioned area. So you've got your sleeping area at the back, your main living area, and sort of nice open canopy area as well. So like I said, you put a sort of table chairs or some sort of stove out front of here, you've got plenty of area to cook in, which is quite nice. And like I said, with the versatility of adding a porch door to seal all up, it just changes, like I said, the aspect of the tent. So on the front door, you've actually got not only your normal tent door, but there's actually a mesh door. So the joys of this means you can zip that mesh door in. You've got shelter from the canopy, so even if it rains, you've still got beautiful circulation of air without having to worry about sort of the bugs and the critters coming in. So that's a nice little thing. 2 PVC windows on the front with curtains as well. So wherever you see windows on something like this tent, there are curtains so you can combat with your privacy and just make it sort of neat and tidy. Admittedly, on this sort of level of tent for this price point, it's all toggle up. So rather than having zips that go all the way up, you've just got toggle points. So you can just probably see toggle point here and another one there. So it's not quite as luxurious, but like I said, for the price point, it still gives you the features without necessarily that high-end stuff. So I can put that window up completely. Lovely job. And you've actually got another point actually halfway if you wanted to just get sort of a little bit of privacy halfway as well. Like I said, on the outside, the ventilation panel has actually changed, so it's actually increased by 50%. So you've got a nice ventilation panel at the bottom, and also long bottom here as well. So it's a good little model. I mean, this is the 400. The 500 is probably the most popular one in the range, and it's certainly one we have up in our indoor display room at Attwoolls. And certainly even the 400, for example, for such a small, narrow footprint, height-wise, is pretty damn good, to be fair. I mean, I can stand up pretty much nearly a little, admittedly when it gets the corner a little bit slower, but I mean, even in the main living bedroom area here, it's pretty much fine. I can get changed, no problem at all. For the 2017 season, what they've also done is actually altered the pump, so it's a new pump they're doing. this thing here. So it's actually taller than naturally before. So when you pull on the upstroke, you haven't got to bend down so much. The problem with the sort of ones that have previously gone by is the fact that you were sort of always crouched over, and it certainly did you sort of back in. But with this, it's a much longer pump, and actually it just, in fairness, comes up to sort of about hip height for me. And like I said, being 6'2", it's not a bad thing really. You can buy an electric pump if you want to use it, but necessarily it does take a little bit longer than your sort of standard pump to actually pump it up. So that's certainly things you can think about. It's still a dual action hum pump, so it means as you're pumping up and down, it's still pushing air inside of it. So Vango used a very unique sort of air speed valve, so it's very easy and very quick actually to open and shut it to get the air in and out. In terms of the size of living areas, like I said, for the XL, personally I feel the XL models have got a bit more to it. They do a 400 and 500, but for me the XL, not only they're taller, but more internal room makes quite a bit of difference really. Things you've still got as well is sort of hanging points near enough on every beam, so you can, if you've got a lantern or anything like that, you can more than happily hang that up in the evening. You've got sort of TBS as well, which is sound and tension band system, so it's a unique feature to Vango tents that sort of just give you extra bracing in stormy weather. About probably 95% of people don't really tend to use it, but it's there sort of like added insurance. Like I said, you've still got the sort of side door on the side here, so you can enter and exit as you please. So if the wind's sort of battering in from the right hand side, you can always escape out that side if you want to. But one thing I think really I've said is, in terms of the price you pay for something like this, the amount of room and space, and obviously the quickness of it, it really is a great little tent. You've still got things, you know, like Velcro points for your cables to go up to your hanging points. You've still got cable entry points, so located down the bottom here, you can put the mobile mains unit in from the hookup. So it's small tweaks like that. It's still got certainly beneficial features, but not quite as high a spec as you've seen with other models in the range. A word of note as well is the things like the divider between the two sections in the bedroom area is just sort of toggled in, so there's no actual zip to it, so it's more like a screen rather than like a complete separate bedroom in terms of its feel. You also don't get benefit from things like the pelmet system, so there's no sort of storage pockets on the outside of the bedroom, nor anything to sort of hide up the toggle points. You have got a few pockets just below here inside the sleeping area, so if you want to put your phone or your torch or keys in the evening when you're sleeping, you obviously can crawl around in the darkness and actually know where it's gone to. But essence, quite a nice model. Like I said, with the points of the sort of three sections of the canopy section, the living area and the sleeping area, it does offer an awful lot for the punch. There are optional extras you can consider as well, so you can things like footprints for me is an absolute necessity. Keeps the base clean, and it just changes the whole aspect of the tent really. And the last thing you want is to be on a wet day is turning a tent over, waiting for it to dry or clean it before you pack the whole thing away. So we've got a video on what is a footprint that you can always have a look at. Carpets you can still buy for this as well, and new for 2017 is a skyliner. So it protects the roof against sort of bird sap, bird muck, and anything like that really. So the joys of that, actually, it just helps to prolong the life of your tent and mainly stop it from sort of degrading from the sun and the UV. Not only does that, it actually helps with condensation and makes it feel a little bit cooler inside here. So it's a great extra to certainly consider. I mean, for me, like I said, the footprint's a must. Carpet's more of a luxury item, and the Skyliner is a very worthwhile consideration. But in essence, like I said, this is the 400 Capri XL. They do a 500 and 600, but a really strong range and certainly plenty to look at and consider. So in essence, that is the Vango Capri.